Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 3 of Shifted Reality Season 2. As you can see in my hand, off camera after we went to the ancient city with Bias, I got myself a magical bow. Now, I got this simply by spending some time out on the water and fishing in the ocean until I got enough enchanted bows to put together to get a pretty powerful bow that does Power 5, Unbreaking 3, Infinity, Flame, and Punch. Now, why did I get this bow? Well, I learned my lesson while I was in the ancient city and got tired of being killed by mobs that I really had no defense against. So now I'll no longer be at the whims of the creatures of the night. Well, Traintronic is on, and he needed some string, so before we get started today, I am going to make use of this nifty new portal that Bias Icewing has delivered to us to go see if I can't find him. Going through. Ah, very good. And even got facing correct. There's actually nothing that bothers me more than when you have to go into a portal and then you have to turn around in order to get out on the other side. I just want to keep pushing forward, go through the portal, and come out straight the other side. And I appreciate that Bias did that. Though he seems to have left a lot of garbage in his tunnels. And some easy access to quartz if I need it later. Apparently he's putting up some signs for where people's bases are. So, nothing to hint where I need to go for Train. I know in episode 7 of Bias's series, he said that Train was close to me, so hopefully this will be the right spot. Now let's back. There's some more signs up here. Traintronic, here we go. What the? Why did I come through in the ground? Oh. Lots of... Oh yeah, that's exactly what I need. Lots of rotten flesh. Actually, the bones are kind of helpful, though. Before I leave, I'm just going to take a quick tour of his base, see what he's been up to. Let's see, he has his hobo tent for his starter house. What kind of farm is this? General Mob Farm? Well, after talking to Train a little bit, I'm coming through here, and this is, I think, is going to demonstrate what I don't like to do with portals. I don't want to go through and not be able to push forward and come back or anything like that. So our goal today is to finish this off, make this look like it has a solid foundation, and generally over here we are going to take this wall back about 3 blocks all the way around, and then we're going to terraform the remaining parts of this hillside to make it look like it blends in. And we're aiming for vanilla blending, and we will be able to keep the mobs out and the villagers safe inside. Feels so good to be able to pot the zombies again. You know that old adage, measure twice, cut once. I really need to learn to do that with Minecraft. The reason why I said I was going to extend it out by 3 is because that was the limit, right up to where this house is. And so from here, when I started cutting this out, I was measuring from the base to 3 over because I didn't want to cut into this house. I'm not sure what I'm doing with it yet. I figured I'd leave it there and leave it alone. However, when I was up here to count it out, I counted out 3 from the top of the roof. And unfortunately that means I went 4 at the bottom. But not to worry, I can just use that 4th row to start working on the building this back up and evening out the terrain so it looks a bit more vanilla crafted and not so much hard square mined out. So that's where we're going next. With the goal to make this look like it blended in, like this was the natural vanilla terrain generation, I think overall we did a pretty good job. To get rid of the sharp corners, we kind of blocked it out a little bit. You know, every once in a while you come out, just a little bit of randomness, a little bit of purpose, and getting the corners round, bringing the upper levels down a little bit so that it looks not like a big straight dirt wall that was carved here, but matches up with the overall rise of the mountain that we are at the base of. Which brings me over to this side of the house, where we have currently an even bigger immediate drop off. Now, there's a couple options I can do here. I could extend the grass out and just wind it down and bring it down to connect up this way. Or I can highlight this section by designing what will eventually be the wall that will go around the base. You know, I was really thinking I was going to go with the decorative wall option, but the more I kind of look at the way this naturally generated and how narrow it is, I honestly, I think just building out and connecting over this waterway is really going to be our best option. Now what I've done is I took the dirt that I had collected and kind of covered up the stone that was next to my starter house, and it kind of gave me kind of a natural progression and keeping this all rounded and vanilla. And I continued that until it leveled out into the next area, or the next raised area of the stony shore. So we are pretty good there. And then I used that elevation to kind of guide the levels I had as I brought it around and connected it up to this side. Unfortunately, while it guided me on my levels as I brought it out in order to get this step up, there's nothing that really guided my placement on how to bring it back over here. And it created it to look maybe a little too square. And yes, I know the irony of saying that something in Minecraft looks too square. But, and plus, you know, this pillar sitting right on top of the dirt block, again, it creates that idea that it's not really supported, it's not really there. So we need to kind of make this a little bit more rounded again. Saying we need to make things more rounded in Minecraft. But we do need to round this off, make it a little bit more naturally generated look. And when we get that, it'll look a lot better. And yes, it is all one thick, so if a creeper ever explodes on there, you're going to be falling down. And we're not going to worry too much about this side just yet, but it is going to be on the list of a future project to maybe decorate out the cave entrance down there. So what I mean by rounding it out is you get these like sharp square corners, just kind of put some extra blocks in that area. A little bit random, a little haphazard, and then it starts building out and looking a bit more like what you would expect to see it come as. And by adding in these few little extra steps here and there, it ends up starting to look like it's a bit more naturally generated in the vanilla sense. Sometimes maybe you want to take it back rather than going forward. And generally speaking, the less that you can make the lower level follow the contours of the higher level, the more natural it's going to look. Now we still need to deal with this dirt wall though. And for that, I'm actually going to go back to my original idea of a decorative retaining wall. Now the reason I'm going with a base layer of cobblestone for this decorative retaining wall is because I am doing the village rebuild, and cobblestone is one of the main components of your standard vanilla village. So I don't really want to lose the roots of what we're doing. Hello, real. Thank you. And I asked Real to bring me over some glowberries so I can start growing them in here and get some natural light going down here so it's not a mob farm directly underneath my starter house. So I'm kind of freehanding this. I knew I wanted to get a bit of an arch to show off the cobblestone underneath of the brick. And at the same time, I also knew I wanted to show the brick at the top because otherwise it would just be lost over on this side. And I still need to put in one more layer here. I'm not sure exactly what yet. That meshes up to this level that the house is actually built on. And as I'm looking at this, I think it's missing one little detail right here where the wall goes underneath of the stairs. I think I know how to fix that. So I think this is going to work as a nice little extra decorative detail. Plus it's going to tie it in with the white house directly above it. And then last one right there. And we just open it up just so it looks like little supports. Doesn't quite give the structural look that it has up there because when it attaches to the wall, the gates drop down for whatever reason. But I think it gives it a little bit more of a finished look and brings out the walls just a little bit to really tie it in. And because I think it might look nice, I'm going to try using polished diorite as the capstones for our retaining wall, just to tie it into the White House again. Now that this is looking nice and finished, let's bring in our villagers. And already we are getting our villagers repopulated. Look at them go. It's working exactly how I intended. The babies can get out, the adults will be forced to stay in, and they'll just all run off to play and grow up in the village on their own. These babies will grow up and someone will take the 2 extra workstations of the composters that are down there, and then I'll just bring them in by boat as well, just to maximize the efficiency of keeping our village populated. There's one more thing I want to do in this episode, since this is kind of a decorating and landscaping episode, and that is to make the portal look a little bit better. You know, I've never really had a very big concept on how to decorate a nether portal. Maybe that should be my stretch goal for this season is I don't want that one there. Maybe that should be my stretch goal for this season is to finally come up with a design that really stretches my creativity for this area right up here where the portal comes in and out. Because ultimately, if you don't have a stretch goal as you are working on your base, then you don't really challenge yourself and you don't make too much progress. Should I put a fence over here? Oh, I have an idea. I know what I can do. Here we go. That may not keep out any baby villagers that wander up here, but that should prevent adult villagers from going through it, I think. I need to make a little adjustment here. There we go. Simple but elegant solution. The adult villagers might come up here, but they'll get stuck right here. Baby villagers will go through, but you know, they're easier and quicker to replace. And our village is once again populated. Well, I hope you had fun and enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you as we come back for the next one. Bye, everyone. Oh, yes. And don't forget to like and subscribe.